One very, very big topic in Slovakia, and it's the Kuciak murder trial. The investigative journalist that you probably have heard of if you follow things in Slovakia, it is a big thing. Anka Dragu has been there at the court for the first 2 weeks of the trial. Please do check our website and listen to Anka Dragu's shows, or there are some bits in our news. Some people have already confessed. The shooter has confessed that he shot him. I want to ask you, Jonathan, in Slovakia it is a big thing. Is there anything comparable that you've seen in the United States?
Yeah, we've had some big trials in my lifetime. I just wanted to say first about Anka, since you mentioned her. She told me that they're having the court trial 3 days a week, and I said, only 3 days a week? She said everybody is completely exhausted after 3 days. The judges, the witnesses, the lawyers, everybody. It's like really long days, very emotionally trying, so 3 days is enough. So trials are like that. Yeah, we had the biggest one that I remember is the O.J. Simpson trial. And people who are old enough, maybe not quite as old as me, you don't have to be, but this was in the 1990s. In the mid-90s, somebody killed O.J. Simpson's wife and a guy that was with her in California, in Los Angeles. And O.J. Simpson was accused of the murder. Many people still believe he was guilty, but he was not found guilty. They didn't have enough evidence to convict him. But it was a huge thing. I mean, people were staying home from work to watch this trial. It was such a big event. There have been movies made about it since then.
And O.J. Simpson, I've heard the name. I do not know much about the case and the person. Was he active in any public areas?
Yeah, O.J. Simpson was a running back that first became famous he won the Heisman Trophy in the University League, in the college football. I remember him as the most sensational runner. Like most runners, when you give them the ball, fullbacks or halfbacks, they call them, they're either fast or they're big and strong. He was both. He was super fast and super strong and big, and he was kind of a very unusual player, and he had great moves. I've never seen anybody run the football like he did. He was famous. He broke records. He was maybe the best running back ever to play the game, and after he retired early and became an actor, he was in some Hollywood films. Not a great actor, but he managed to do it. And then it was towards the end of this acting career that he had this thing with his wife. They had problems. They were separated, and then they believed that he killed his wife in a jealous rage, I guess, is a big part of history.
This trial is huge because it shows some possible links of some controversial businessmen, or some people even say directly mafia, to politics.
Yeah.
Has anything like that occurred?
Yes, there were trials, or there were exactly trials. There were a lot of big hearings in the 1960s and 70s where big mafia figures in the United States were being grilled by congressmen. There were Senate investigations, I believe. Robert Kennedy was behind part of this, the president's brother, in the 1960s. I was too young for this. I've learned more about it afterwards, but it was a big thing. The head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, really backed off on the mafia, and it is said today by people who are still around who remember those days that it was because he was blackmailed. He was homosexual, and he didn't want that to come out, and they were blackmailing him because they knew he would go into their bars and things, so they had pictures of him, and he knew that he'd better not go after them. That's what they say today. Some mafia figures say that today, who are talking about the past.
One thing that I can say about the Kuciak murder trial, what happened this last week was that two big names, people called oligarchs by some media in Slovakia, were in court. Okay, let's move on. I want to ask you, our listeners, if you have any interesting stories to share, similar to those which we have mentioned with Jonathan, please do send us some links or maybe some emails explaining what happened in your countries. That's one thing. Then there's another thing, one change in our broadcasting. It is about new person in our office. Romana Grajcerová has joined us, and her arrival influenced my work. I used to do one show per week, which is shorter on Fridays, but now with Romana, we do our shows on Fridays, the swap.
Alternating Fridays.
Yes, thank you. This is a native speaker. Helping out. Obviously, you do proofreading for us.
Yeah, that's right.
Were you surprised by how many mistakes you can find in our text?
Not surprised. I've done a lot of proofreading of people, and it usually varies widely between Slovak speakers, how they write, and some are able to kind of get pretty close to good grammar and style and everything. Others are not, and so they have the same range here, pretty much. Some people are easier to proofread, some people a little harder, but yeah, no, I'm not surprised.
One little insert of Jonathan's work with our bad English. Yeah. And then there is one more thing. Musical crossroads are not anymore played on Fridays, but on Sundays. So even at the end of our listeners' tribune, you can get ready for the next round.
State.
Listeners Tribune. Is there anyone out there listening?
Another part of today's program is that we are going to read out letters and emails from you. So let's see what you have sent us. I have here one reception report from Siddhartha Bhattacharjee. I apologize if my pronunciation was not correct. There is a reception report which I want to thank for, but there is one thing which we always remind you of. Do talk to us, send us some feedback, and there are two questions at the end of this email. How many molestation cases registered in the last year in your country? Is there any dowry case? Well, I have to tell you, I checked some data and I have not found anything. I do apologize. I just have seen some, it was a comment by our Interior Minister from 2018 that the number of rape, the cases which police registered increased at that time, not anymore about molestation, I don't know. And then is there any fast trial called to solve the women exploitation